Pete Buttigieg has money, but can he turn it into 2020 win? Carroll, Iowa APU. Pete Buttigieg stunned the Democratic presidential field with a fundraising haul. Now he needs to that poses big challenges for the 37-year-old mayor of South Bend, Indiana, who lags several of his top opponents in the number of staff on the ground in early states. He also has Buttigieg said much of his emphasis will be on retail politics. More days like Thursday, when he blitzed across Iowa for a parade and picnics and one-on-one interactions with voters. The campaign also Buttigieg has been a source of both fascination and skepticism in the opening months of the Democratic primary. He was virtually his fundraising prowess suggests he will be more than Democrats' flavor of the month candidate. He topped former Vice President Joe Biden's haul and more than doubled the money raised in the second quarter by senior Kamala Harris, yet Buttigieg still faces questions about his experience and whether his appeal extends beyond wealthier donors and white voters. Ultimately, Buttigieg's biggest investment has so far been in Iowa, the overwhelmingly white state that kicks off the Democratic primary with a caucus on February 3. The campaign has Buttigieg spent the July 4th holiday barnstorming the state and plans 3 more visits there this month, according to his campaign. At a parade in Storm Lake, Iowa, Buttigieg's reception was mixed. Dana Evans, but as Buttigieg walked the route with a group of mostly young volunteers, he remained unfamiliar to some in the crowd. One woman took a Carroll County Democratic Party Chairman Peter Leo said that's why it's important for Buttigieg to use his money to spend as much time in the state as he can. Leo introduced Iowans. Buttigieg's challengers get tougher as the primary calendar swings into the South, where black voters make up a significant share of the Democratic electorate. Buttigieg's support, Aunt Joan Searight, a South Carolina-based strategist, said Buttigieg must invest more in research and getting to know communities of color, whether it's face-to-face meetings or focus groups or polling, if he has any chance of winning the nomination or a general election. People. Buttigieg said he believes he can compete and beat expectations in South Carolina, and that his team there, which has been made up of just a handful of staffers, will grow, just as it will in other early states like New Hampshire, Nevada, and California, which holds its primary in March but begins early voting weeks before that.
Raindrop, drop top smoking, no cooking the hot pot. Fucking on your bitch, yeah, that. Looking up, open the park pot.